It's not so much what we know, it's letting go a little bit of what we know to learn something new. And what I like to talk about is authentic nutrition. And I do tell people that I do believe that there is a life cycle. I do believe that, after 40, after 50, I do believe that this is human maturity. I do believe in this. I do see the life cycle as the child up until 7 is learning. And then 7 to 14, he's starting to say, well, I don't know. And then 14 after, he thinks he knows. And then he's going to bump and bump and bump and bump till 35, 42. Then he's going to start to say, maybe I don't know something. This is the time in the child's life, in the human life, when they're open to a new suggestion. This is like, I've seen this now for 40 or 50 years. Now I need to make a new decision in my mind about how I'm going to end up. I'm looking to the back end of my life. I'm looking to the second half of life. And I don't want to go forward in the second half of my life wrong. I've made enough mistakes in my life, and I want to be very careful with my next decision. This is the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. Somewhere in here, someone is making a new decision in their life. Making some decisions about how they want their life to be. And I am telling people, if you want a life of peace, lead a life of peace. If you want a life of love, lead a life of love. But love is not right or wrong. Love is not good or bad. This is not love. I love my child, whatever they do. Whether they're good or they're bad, I still love. Love is not about scoring. Love is not about score. Love is not about competition. It's about collaboration. So we were taught competition. We were taught right and wrong. We were taught these ideas that are holding us back. Really, the idea we need is a less is more idea. It's not to get our nourishment from the outside, but to find the nourishment within the self. It's not to address the problem around me, but to address the problem within me. So I do a less is more lifestyle. So I'm fasting. Yes, I'm fasting. I'm practicing fasting every day. I am encouraging, anyone that's talking with me, I tell them at least 4 days of the week, most of the time you should be doing this. You should be trying to live on less. If you're between 40 and 50 and 60, it's time to start learning to live on less. You have to learn a new habit. It has to be a less habit, and it has to be authentic habit. Now, we've been told that we get our energy from food, from calories and proteins and carbs. This is how we get our energy, we are told. This is what we learned. We're the only animal that went to school to learn how to eat. No other animal needs this. If you put the toddler in the room with the chicken and the fruit, they're going to eat the fruit instinctually. They're not going to eat the chicken. But when they come home, mom and dad going to say, eat the potatoes and the meat to be big and strong. We taught the child to eat the meat like that. Okay, that was taught to us. So I want to say, yes, we can get energy from food, but I want to say that it has a cost. And that there is a more authentic energy than food. And I want to tell you that that energy is an electron energy, an electromagnetic energy, an energy that is maintained, contained in water. That water has the power and capacity to carry this energy. That water has a sort of natural carrying capacity for this energy of light, this electron energy. can be contained inside of the water, that the water will actually take a new structure, that an electron can be shared, that H2O can become H3O in the presence of light. This is authentic energy, that this is what the body is nourished by. It's a spark of light that can come from externally from the sun, or from internally from the internal sun. That this energy is inside of you and outside of you. That we have been told that the human is a food eater. This is a half-truth. The human can eat food, but there is a price. The true nourishment of the human is hydrogen, water. Water contains hydrogen. The true authentic nourishment is oxygen and hydrogen, carbon. You could argue carbon, nitrogen. Nitrogen is in the air. Nitrogen makes protein or amino acid. You could get that from the air. You can get the hydrogen from the water. With the air and the water, you have the authentic nourishment of the being. But we've been taught to eat the food, and so we have attachments, addictions. With miseducation, we've developed addiction and attachment to the food, and the whole wheel of life, the whole samsara now runs on food and drug and money. And so the whole thing turns this way. But you can come off of the wheel if you start to see the truth and you start to understand that the truth is a new understanding of the reality. And once you start to align with an authentic reality, that the body comes back to clean and pure. It comes slowly, bit by bit. And it doesn't come without pain. It does come with some pain, aches and pains, because there are pains, aches and pains, emotional pain that's trapped in the body at the cellular level. And we must remove it. We must clean it out, detoxify the body. Pure water is a structured water, or a water that contains energy. Pure water, water in nature, is in the light of the sun. This green rock that we live on, it's a green-blue rock, the earth, that is always in the light of the sun. So all of the earth water, the earth is made up of water, 70% water. The human body is the same. The trees, everything is made up of water. Water is the structure. Water is the beginning. Water holds consciousness. Water holds energy. We are really water that's conscious. And we can manipulate ourselves completely by our consciousness. The earth is in the light of the sun. And so being in the light of the sun, the water is structured by the sun. So the earth water is always structured. The trees, the plants, the things on the earth itself is always in the light of the sun and always has a negative charge. It's being inspired by the light of the sun all the time. It has a charge. When you touch the earth, you get that charge. There's an electric charge. There's a magnetic charge of the earth. This is electromagnetic energy. It has nothing to do with food. It's in the live foods that grow on the trees the live foods contain the electromagnetic current. The fruits, the vegetables, the water from the earth. The water is in a clean natural cycle. It sits in the sun, it warms, and then it rises with evaporation. It cools, and it falls back down as rain. That's pure, clean, distilled water. It was distilled by evaporation. It was cooled in the condensation, and it fell down as rain. That rain is pure distilled water. It's not only pure distilled water, it's distilled water that's in the light of the sun. So it's also upgraded in energy. It's alive or energy rich water. It's got a little bit of an electron change in it because it's inside the light of the sun. It's touching the earth on the bottom of the lake. It has a charge. This water is structured water. This is live water. This is life water. This is not the water that comes in the tap. So yes, the water in the tap may be by the city low in bacteria count and safe to drink because of its bacteria count. It's not in a natural cycle. It's not in the light of the sun, and it contains chemicals to clean it. It's not natural. It is not the water that can heal you. It's dead water. It's not life water. You can't drink the water from the tap. I encourage you to drink distilled water. But see, even the distilled water, though it's clean, it's still not in the light of the sun. It still doesn't have life or invigoration. And so to take the distilled water and invigorate it, either you have to chop up some fruits and put them inside the water, or you have to put the water in the sunlight, or intend some intention on the water, because you need to put love into the water. This water in nature is in a love cycle. It's nourishing everyone. Its intention is to keep everyone here safe and well and clean and pure. The water must be in an intention. Water needs an intention, a love intention. And that happens in a live being, in a live fruit or a vegetable. It picks up this energy of intention from within, from the life. From the life being's intention, the light inside is put upon the water of the being. By holding a positive spark intention in mind, you put that intention into the water of your being, into your cells. You bring yourself health by thinking and speaking about health. You create love by thinking and speaking about authentic love, not about worry, not about fear. That's not how you create love in your family. So I want to say that we are working on a fasting lifestyle. I teach my 4-day detox. It's a fasting lifestyle. I'm trying to do this 4 days of the week. And this is like my disciplined mind, my masculine mind. I want to be fit and healthy and well. So I'm working on this goal most of the time. 4 days of the week is most of the week. And then I must honor the other side of me, the feeling part that says, I just feel like this, and I just feel like having this, and I just feel as if I don't honor her, 6 months down the road, she'll feel so dishonored that she will come and she will say, I'm eating everything now. And you have no control anymore, divine masculine. I'm eating it. This is what she does. After some time, she'll come like this. If you hold one down, sometime that one will come back. We have to see it's not a battle of good and evil. We have to see that it is two energies entwined in love together. That there is one loving source that separated itself into two. These two are not enemies. They're divine opposites. Does that make sense? Divine opposites. They never meet. You see, they never meet. Does that understand? But they're always attracted to each other. Positive and negative. Understand that that electron spins around the proton. It spins around it. It spins around it forever. It's attracted to it, and then it falls over top of it. It's attracted to it, and it falls over top of it. This is free energy. It doesn't eat the electron. It doesn't need to eat. It's in love with the proton. It keeps on falling over it forever. It's magnetism. It's electric magnetism. It's the energy of electrons. What we're talking about is balancing the energies within the being, honoring the masculine and the feminine within, finding a balance within the self. This happens in meditation, in mindfulness. When we're triggered by what's happening around, we go inside and we sit with the trigger. And we fix it inside. Where's the spider inside? This is integrating the shadow. So when we're talking about authentic healing, we're not talking about, we don't talk about the bad thoughts and we don't think about the bad things and we just avoid the bad things and we just, everything over there is bad, so we don't do it. That's not how we deal with it. This is not dealing with your shadow. Dealing with your shadow is going in and talking to it and about it, being with it, talking with the victim. Sabina talked about these things, talking with these shadow things inside of ourselves, these triggers, these relationships, these people, these circumstances that are around us, food, drug, addiction, people, relationships, money, career, future. How do we think about all of these things? Are they all triggers? Or am I lovingly thinking about my future? Am I lovingly thinking about my daughter, my son, my career, my future? Or am I in a trigger when I think about my future or my business or my finances? Am I being triggered by my life? Am I looking at my life fearfully? Or am I using love in my life? Am I looking at my life lovingly? Integration of the shadow is something different. And I think we were talking about this just a second ago. It's to see that basically there are only two emotions. And that this is a continuum. That the human is just a continuum of feeling. And that it's a frequency and vibration that I can tune it from fear or low energy. I can tune it up to love energy. I can come through the low vibration feelings of fear and worry and jealousy and envy and addiction. I can come from the low energies and I can move up in vibration to the high energies. I can do this by changing my mind, changing my thoughts and words, changing what I'm thinking about, changing the energy inside of my body, changing the hydrogen inside of my body with live foods, connecting to the energy inside of my body by watching my breath and listening to the feeling that's within the present moment. Because the energy of love is always here, within us and around us. With each breath, we can nourish ourselves from within or around us. We can come away from these fearful ideas and we can come to authentic ideas. It's to understand that the fearful ideas are ideas of the man, and that the love ideas are the authentic ideas of the creation. That we've been taught fearful ideas from life, from our parents. We learned it from our parents, and we do the same parenting. It's to unlearn that we were taught to learn that way from our parents, and to stop living in the fear that our parents gave us, and to step into the love inside of ourselves and teach love to our child, not fear, by not being fearful for our child. We're the ones that change the energy for ourselves and for our child. We do this with our change of food and our change of dialogue, different thoughts and words, and a different understanding of nutrition than the nutrition that we were taught and our parents were taught. The human is not a glucose being. The human is a fructose being. The problem is that fructose only stays on the shelf for about 2 weeks, and then it dies. And for this reason, human has been taught to be a glucose being, and it makes the human sick. Human needs to learn authentic nutrition. Human needs to learn how to integrate with their shadow, the shadow energy, the dark energy that's trapped inside of them, to bring that energy up in frequency and vibration, to rise up the energy, to raise the electrical current, the electromagnetic energy inside of the shadow. Yes, you can do that with your internal spark, your internal life energy, your internal life force can heal this. So it's a new nutrition, it's a new mindset. It's a water nutrition, it's a hydration nutrition. It's an electric nutrition. It's a thought nutrition. It's a thought and word. It's an internal nourishment. It's a sunlight nourishment. It's a grounding nourishment. It's an earth nourishment. It's a fluids. It's a water. I like to talk about hydrogen-rich water, H3. Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing? I'm just getting myself going for the day. I always like to teach my customers, my clients, my students to embrace their day. Good morning, good morning. How are you doing? I'm just getting myself going for the day. I'm just getting myself moving. I'm just getting myself breathing for the day. I want to tell you that I've been in fitness and wellness for an entire lifetime. Since the age of 6, I've been involved in health and wellness. From 13, I've been involved with lifting weights, resistance on the body, putting the body under physical resistance. And truthfully, I want to tell you that putting the body under strain physically has been a practice that's been practiced since the beginning of time. With martial arts and yoga and Tai Chi, people from all over the world have always recognized the benefits of movement and breath, conscious breathing to begin the day. And I want to tell you that because I started with health and wellness at such a young age, that I learned the habits and the disciplines of healthy movement and conscious nutrition from a child. It was a part of my childhood. And because it was a part of my childhood, that I developed habits at a time when habits are more easily developed in children. And I really want to emphasize the benefit of a physical and mental wellness program and making sure that that's a part of your lifestyle. I like to talk about lifestyle, like adapting lifestyle habits that will make you healthy and well. And I think it's very important that we teach these lifestyle habits to young adults. Children, young adults need to know the importance of movement and breathing and healthy natural nutrition. Here I am, just out in nature, just embracing my day, just starting my day in the very best way, and I just want to move through a dozen basic movements today. I'd like to teach my basic movements to you today, and they are basically foundational human movements that focus on a couple of foundational core fundamental human natural movement. And when I talk about human natural movement, I'm talking about flexion, bending over. I'm talking about extension, rising up. And I'm talking about rotation, twisting through the spine. And if you take a look at movement, if you take a look at human movement, and if you study human movement, you'll see that, human movement is like an expansion of these core fundamental movements. And I want to kind of teach you some core fundamental movements that you can do daily to inspire energy and life in your body. That if you could learn these dozen simple movements, and if you just got up in the morning and you went through the practice of moving through these movements, and you focused on the benefit of this practice. And the benefit of a movement practice is it's an opportunity for a human being to focus themselves for the day. To bring their attention from the things that are going on in mind and bring their attention down to the present moment. It's an opportunity for a human to practice humanness. An opportunity for a human to practice presence. Presence is what the human is all about. Being in the present. We need to have a lifestyle that practices coming to the present. And this can happen through movement and mindset shift. So I'd like to teach you a dozen movements, and I'd like to, cue you to focus on your breath while practicing these movements. And then on top of that, I want to put some sort of positive affirmation or something that's also reprogramming the mental body. So we want to work on the mental and the physical body. We want to rise and begin our day in that way with some foundational movements, with some focus on breath and some positive affirmative dialogue, putting it all together into a morning movement session. Let's go through some basic movements. One of the foundational human movements. Humans bend and extend. We want to get the joints moving. We want to work on those big joints. We want to work on those knees, those hips, the lower back, all through the spine, right? So that deep knee bend. Rising, working on your bend, working on your extend, working on your rotation, and then getting into those big muscles to wake up the body and pump blood and lymph through the body. See, while we sleep, the body gets still and stagnant. Right? When we rise in the morning, we want to get the fluids and the gases moving through the body. And we want to change the pH in the body by rising the oxygen intake in the body. Nice deep breaths. Nice deep breaths. Movement gets me breathing deeply. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Just nice deep knee bends. You know, one of my key foundational movements. Another one, you got to get into your lunge. We got to have balance and stability. This is foundational right here. If you took any martial arts, if you've played any sport, this is what's going on the wrestling mat. This is what's happening in a fight. This is what's happening in any athletic movement. We need to get into this balance and stability and the power in the lower body of the lunge, right? Moving and breathing, squatting and lunging. This is just foundational movements to begin your day. Working through the movements and at the same time working on your personal dialogue to begin your day. Horizontal rotation. After all that lower body effort, we might have that heart pumping a little bit more now. Just to be conscious of the body changing inside. The physiology of the body is being changed by your morning decision to rise and change your personal energy. Your masculine decision to get up and get moving is taking charge of the energy in your body right now. Through a change in mind, you're changing your energy, your state, your being, right? Through a decision. I'm getting fit, I'm getting healthy, I'm getting well. Upwards rotation. So we had horizontal rotation. We've got upwards rotation. We've got focus to breathing. Exhale, inhale. Just morning movements, foundational practice for your day. Just centering yourself in here and now for the day. Same thing on the other side. Upwards rotation. Teaching foundational movement. Exhale, inhale. Functional human movements. We want to move through all of the movement potentials of the human body. Bend, extend, and rotate. Heart rate rising. Changing pH in the body. Alkalizing the body, getting the blood and fluids moving through the body. When we sleep, the body gets stagnant. The lymphatic fluids pool in the body. You may wake up, if you're over 40, if you're over 50, you may wake up with aches and pains in your body. If you're a young adult, maybe you're not aware of that yet, but we want to learn some foundational patterns in our youth, a lifestyle that we can maintain, that we can practice this for the rest of our life. Next pattern here is just like a bounce or a skip. Something that picks up the heart rate a little higher. Standing tall, good posture, working all the core muscles, all the muscles that run on the front and back of the spine. Standing tall and breathing. Just some conscious, deep, full breaths. And you know what? This happens when we're moving, that the body starts calling for more oxygen. Just paying attention to the body. Just paying attention to yourself for a moment. Just taking a second to focus inside of yourself on your breath and what's going on inside of your mind. Just your internal dialogue to begin the day. Moving, breathing, and coming to a good internal dialogue. Mental and physical health and wellness. Next one here, let's get into a jump. Here is a squat jump. If we can, I love to encourage people to get up off the ground. If you can, let's get a little bit of a jump in. Let's see, 10, 20, 30. How many can you do? What's right for you? It's not about killing yourself. It's about doing what's appropriate for you. Really, it's about loving yourself. It's getting up and getting going with some positive action for yourself. This is loving the self. Some jumping if we can. Great stimulation for the body, jumping. Also, if you can, jumping on one leg, hopping, balance, stability, hopping, jumping on one leg, balancing, hopping, jumping on one leg. If we can't jump on one leg, just the balance on one leg. Awesome. Practicing balance. I always like to recommend practicing balance, right? Balance and agility, right? Some agility, some flexibility, stretch. Some agility, some bounce, some skip, some agility. Something that picks up that heart rate, changes that internal state. We want to change brain neurotransmitters in the morning. We want to get endorphins going in the morning. We want to move oxygen through the body. We want to pump the lymphatic system. We want to stimulate circulatory and nervous systems. We want to get the endocrine system functioning optimally for the day. We want to think and speak positively about where we're going and what we're doing today. We want to learn these habits when we are young. We want to practice these things for a lifetime. In addition to the movements, the foundation movements that we've done, I'd like to add here something down in the horizontal plane, getting myself down into the horizontal plane, stepping up and stretching. So some flexibility and strength there. Step up and stretch out. Pulling through the center, working on my flexibility, range of motion through my inner thighs. Stepping and breathing. My energy is rising. I am rising up my energy for the day. Just positively affirming. I am lifting up my energy for the day. Just taking responsibility for my own energy. Just teaching a way to rise up your energy yourself. Just learning a habit. Developing a habit. Flexibility through the lower body. Strength and flexibility through the body to begin the day. Something where I'm down pushing. This can happen on your knees. This can happen on your toes. Down into that position where you're pushing. Working on 10 or 15 or 20 of those pushes for the day. Something where I'm pulling through the middle. Laying on my back. Working through the middle. Pulling through the middle. Movements that cover all of the movement potentials of the body. We want to get up. We want to move through our foundational movements. Get ourselves moving. Get ourselves breathing.
and begin a positive affirmative dialogue, a positive way of thinking and speaking about ourselves and our day. How do we want the day to be? Something exciting is going to happen to me today. I want to get into that excited energy. Something awesome is happening for me right now. Just practicing, moving, and breathing, and really cultivating an internal positive space to carry out into my world for the day. This is how we prepare ourselves for the day. This is just morning practice, morning movement, getting myself going, getting myself breathing, getting myself thinking and speaking about the things that I love. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Join my love community. I love you. I love you. I love you. Have yourself a super awesome, terrific day.